Ubud Dream is exactly that, a project that balances luxury and spirituality.
My introduction to Bali started right from this place.
Oleg, this is our entire foundation. LOYO is from love yourself, in case anyone didn't know.
So why do I live in Phuket and not here? This is my favorite pain, but it's a favorite toy.
Such a system allows us to grow extremely, really fast and efficiently.
Our task is to ensure that the client, it was calm. We plan to be here for a long time. We have a decade ahead of us. Vadim has an absolutely amazing instinct for land locations. It's completely foolproof.
The three key aspects in choosing real estate are location, location, location. Hello friends, my name is Daria and I am the head of the sales department at LOYO Bondar. Today, we are on the land of our new project, Ubud Dream, a unique project for those who appreciate luxury, nature and inspiration. Today, we'll talk in more detail about the project, and I will also introduce you to another one of our co-founders, Oleg, who is in charge of the entire operations department, including finance and IT. Oleg, greetings.
Hi.
How's the mood?
The mood is great. We have such amazing weather in Ubud today, and the sun is shining on us, and at the same time it's gentle, not too harsh.
Oleg, you are in charge of the operations department and finances. Tell us why we are on the site today.
I have a lot of responsibilities, but in this case, since we have a group of companies, it just so happens that one of the companies I manage, LOYO Group, is the one working on this project. And when our investors who will be buying villas from us sign the contract, they will be signing them with me. So I want to introduce myself right away.
In general, Ubud is basically that's where it all started. Our group of companies consists of 4 founders, each of whom started out on their own. And Ubud specifically, in your person, I think, is the foundation. Tell us a little more about LOYO Villas. I mean...
Yes. For me, everything started here. I mean, when I first arrived, the idea was born to start building something in Bali. And when I first came, of course, well, my journey, my acquaintance with Bali started right from this place. The first cafe I visited here is Zest Cafe, which is just over the fence. Actually, I fell in love while sitting there at Zest Cafe looking at the amazing views that are here, Savraga. And I realized that, well, as they say here, the island has accepted me. And from that moment on, everything took off. We had the first project that I worked on myself. We were looking for land. That's where we met. Actually, while selecting this land with Vadim and Vasily, this is LOYO Villas. It's literally 15 minutes away. Since this place is where it all started for me, I'm really happy that we're launching a new project right here.
From your stories, you're a fan of Ubud?
That's true, yes. Every time I come here, I think, why do I live in Phuket and not here? Well, I think it's temporary. Right now, we're here too. We'll finish something up and I'll be living here.
Please tell us, how did this project come about in Ubud?
Vadim has an absolutely amazing instinct for land. So he arrives at a certain plot and he looks at, say, 10 plots and it's just pass.
Yes, we also work on selecting land.
And then he arrives and says, I see it all right here. There will be a great complex with 42 lofts and 42 villas. So we rely on his feelings. He doesn't make mistakes. Vadim is really great in this regard. The location is absolutely unbeatable. We are completely confident that future tourists, which will be here, yes, it will have a great return on investment.
I would also like to add that this location falls within the 1 kilometer search radius on Booking and Airbnb. So when we enter Ubud on Booking and Airbnb, this place falls within the radius. That's the search. And this place is really the very center. And not just the center, but it's also elevated, hall. Let's talk a little more in detail about the project itself. What will be here? You already mentioned that there will be 42 villas. Yes. What else?
Well, our task, since this is Ubud, is that many people come here specifically for some spiritual practices, for meditation, for yoga, for working on themselves, for following their spiritual path. We want to create a project where this will be as comfortable as possible. Well, there are people who are ready to go to a monastery for a 10-day Vipassana retreat and sleep on a wooden bed, but there are also people for whom comfort is still important. And we want to make it so that everyone feels comfortable.
It's pleasantly comfortable at Dream. It's exactly a project that balances luxury and spirituality in the very center.
In the very heart. Many projects are said to be the very heart of Ubud, but here this is actually the true heart. Where else?
I want to point out that just a week ago, we received a new master plan which includes a commercial building. I would like to talk in more detail about this, how necessary it is here. So the very center of Ubud, it seems like everything is already here. Why do we need a commercial building?
It will be a fairly large building. There will be a restaurant on the rooftop. It won't be vegetarian cuisine because here we have a Zest cafe for that, and that's it. For those who need it, there is a vegetarian cafe here.
So we keep the vegetarian cuisine for Zest Cafe?
Absolutely. We will have a spacious restaurant. There will be meat dishes, fish dishes, among others. There will be breakfasts here for people who come to us here for the retreat. We hold our retreats, we have a lair for them, and we expect to hold them here in the future as well.
So at the center, there will be yoga, a shala, and a spa complex for those who don't know. Note, a yoga shala is a space where you can come and meditate. And you just touched on the topic of the lair, your retreat. You'll catch on if someone else didn't know. And every time, we look for the perfect place for retreats, and every time something doesn't suit us. So we decided to build our own. Yes, we had to do it ourselves. Indeed. That's why our commercial venture, our restaurant, will feed our guests. Retreats will also be held. And could you please tell us where our restaurant will be located?
Well, the restaurant will actually be located in that area. There will be a commercial building and on the upper floor, so you can see the stunning views. It will be a very high point, possibly even the highest point. It will be in Ubud, but here, the view will be absolutely fantastic and you'll be able to have breakfast there, yes.
We are located on a hill overall, plus we will have several floors of buildings. The restaurant will be on the rooftop. The views will be truly amazing. I would like to say a little more about the complex itself. There will be 42 villas, 1 two-bedroom villa and 1 bedroom villa with a second light. That is, the upper floor won't be completely enclosed. This way we will create more space, more air. And there will be 2-bedroom villas for more comfortable accommodation, because the complex will also be designed for retreats. And in our retreats, there is double occupancy to make the price as favorable as possible for our guests.
Yes, including families come, and if there is a large family, if they're a couple and a child, for example, will find it very convenient. There will be 2-bedroom villas specifically for that.
There will also be a space for sound meditations. We will also have a spa complex, a relaxation area with a pool. In general, everything is aimed at meeting the needs of the guests of the complex as well as those who live in the area. I suggest we take a walk to the Zest. We would be very interested to know what you do in the company, what your areas of responsibility are, because they are extensive, significant, and fundamental.
With pleasure.
We are currently at the ZES, waiting for our orders. Oleg, tell us more about what you do in the company.
It's a question that comes up from time to time, because it can't be precisely defined. I do a lot of different things. I have a wide range. They usually say, Oleg, this is all our operations.
I would say, Oleg, this is our entire foundation.
Who understands what operations are? Well, that's what I do. Sequentially by several services. Most of my time, a big part of it, is spent on interviewing people, screening candidates, looking at people. I think that's very important. Actually, how can they be applied? Which direction is best to send them in?
Assembling the team is everything. Without people, there would be nothing.
So I'm busy with that, yes. Accordingly, I build the services there. This is the HR department in this case. That's what I'm talking about. So now it's not just one person anymore. We have an HR, a Russian speaker. There are 2 Indonesian HRs. And now there will be a separate HR for construction. That is, I'm busy with forming the HR department. Then I'm also busy with forming the legal department, the client support service, accounting, and finance department. I set the foundation. That is when Philip, he organizes everything, comes up with ideas, is a visionary, and manages the sales department. When Vadim walks around, there he looks at the lands or interacts with some local communities, with the banjars. When he sees the design, interacts with the architects, when Vasily is engaged in organizing the construction, actually, all this, how would he communicate with the contractors, with the employees, that is, with the builders? Yes. I'm busy creating, here's the foundation of the back office, which, are you creating everything?
This allows the others to focus on what they are doing.
We're all doing something super important without which it wouldn't be possible. This is my area right here.
I would like to touch on the legal aspect as well, because it's a very important point. Actually, one of the most important. Our clients have a lot of objections that everything is very ambiguous in Indonesian legislation. How do we deal with this?
Well, first of all, clients are, of course, entering a completely new market for them. So it's quite rare for someone to have already invested in Bali. So right now, there are definitely a lot more people wanting to enter this market. And often people do this for the first time. And that's why it's very important for us that our legal department can explain everything to them competently, how things work in Indonesian legislation. That's why we have Russian-speaking lawyers. Besides the fact that we have Indonesian lawyers, besides the fact that we work with one of the senior notaries on the island who also advises us, besides the fact that we are negotiating with the renowned and highly experienced legal firm on the island, Bali Consulting, to which we attach all our extensive expertise. We also have a lawyer assigned to each transaction who manages it thoroughly, explaining in detail to each of our partners and clients all the specifics of our comprehensive contracts and legal practices at Bali. So thank you. How to do it better? We are interested in working with everyone in the long term, so we really try to discuss each of these stories thoroughly.
From my side, I also want to add that I am that kind of person, and the company strives to ensure fairness for both the company and the clients. So we always have equal conditions, and we always act according to the law and not ours, because that's the most long-term perspective.
Of course, yes, of course. So there, from time to time, various news topics arise on the island, such as wanting to impose a moratorium on agricultural land, on the conversion of agricultural land to tourist zones. Some developers are starting to worry about what will happen and what to do. And we are not worried because all our land is originally designated for tourism. We operate strictly within the framework of Indonesian legislation. We assume that the legislation will most likely, it will become more intense, there will be more regulation. We are preparing for this right from the start, and that's why we are backed by legal expertise as strongly as possible so that we can somewhere there to secure ourselves, yes, but we are planning here for the long term. We are there for decades, yes, and we don't want to start our journey with any violations.
The healthiest, most sensible, and most suitable path for me is definitely the one I should follow.
I also want to sleep peacefully, among other things.
Plus, I would also like to point out that not all developers have such a process for supporting a deal as we do. There is indeed a process for supporting a deal like ours. Usually, the sales manager handles the entire deal. They are fully immersed in all the legal aspects from start to finish. We have these processes maximally separated so that everyone can focus on what they do best and most efficiently. And thus, we are simply developing in some kind of extension. We have a legal department, as you already mentioned, and we have an accounting department. Because lawyers shouldn't be dealing with tasks and matters outside of legal ones. Account manager, accounts, yeah. They are the ones who conduct the transaction. They are the link between the client and the lawyer. And there are sales managers who guide the client through the deal, helping to close various sales aspects. This system allows us to grow really quickly and efficiently at a rapid pace.
Basically, we assemble a team for each deal. So we form a group consisting of sales, accounting, and a lawyer who together provide the maximum service to the client that we want to offer. Our task is to ensure that the client feels at ease, though, that our partner, that our investor, I felt that he is not abandoned, that we are taking care of him, and that all his questions will be answered. At any time when they are interested, we will reveal and show everything. Our task is to play openly and communicate our transparency to our partners.
I also want to emphasize the importance of automating processes. So, from our side, we've automated everything we could among the people, and we're also automating processes. This is exactly the field of IT. Tell me about her.
It's my favorite pain on one hand. On the other hand, it's my favorite toy. Because right now, well, everyone knows this already. I've gotten a sore tongue talking about how artificial intelligence is currently developing and its practical application in various processes, including automation. Because our client base is expanding, the number of people is multiplying, and new people are coming in. While the training is happening, there can be mistakes. We try to eliminate this, averaging about 2 months for training.
It's not one must join all processes.
So yes, that's why we try to automate and enhance and optimize as much as we can reach in our processes. Well, for example, the contract system is set up in such a way that we take the client's passport scan, We upload it to the Telegram bot, which then transcribes it and automatically fills in the necessary fields in the contracts. And we immediately receive a set of standard contracts of ours for a specific client with a payment plan. The payment plan means is also detailed, specifying how many months until the construction is completed, boom, whether it's quarterly or monthly. It all gets automatically divided and inserted into appendix to the contract. In general, this automation allows us to speed things up significantly and make them more accurate.
And I want to add that in any case, there are some individual conditions, meaning this is what we do. Basic step.
Yes, this is the foundation, yes.
And when a client, an investor wants to contribute something, we of course, first of all, check everything. That is, technologies are technologies, but in any case we check, plus we bring out some individual conditions in the contract.
Yes, well, I actually have a very big plan for implementing AI technologies in all possible areas, and I have it too. Yes. It seems to me that this is, well, actually, everyone knows that this is the future.
Right now, the bot also handles qualification, figuring out what the needs are, what the budget is, what the property is, and what the area is. This also saves a lot of time because the bot responds literally within a few minutes after a person submits a request. This is very important because a person submitted a request and they want to know right here and now, or at least they want to know that they saw it, that they got in touch with him. So yes, IT technologies are definitely the future.
You know what? I just thought, I've been chatting a lot lately. GPT is a lot.
Me too.
We discuss everything with him, all the details, how to do things correctly at work or other interesting topics for me. So a certain habit is already forming to the fact that you are basically communicating with artificial intelligence and you seem to get along with it. And I think that in some very foreseeable future, the artificial intelligence you interact with while making a purchase can even be more convenient and more pleasant than a live conversation partner, because this habit of communicating has already formed, so to speak. The world is changing so much, and it's all super interesting.
Let's talk a little more about finances. Before getting into any new projects, what's happening? How does it happen? I know that there are some very complex, multi-layered calculations happening to understand whether we are taking risks, or not.
Well, yes, we create a financial model at the start. We calculate the cost of subway construction, presumably, agency commissions, presumably, payment plan. How exactly will the construction take place, at what precise moment, and what exact amount do we precisely need for this construction?
What capital do we currently have, because we are starting to build with our own money?
Projects, buying land. And we have a certain sales plan that is also distributed over the entire term. So if an investor wants to get in at the start, it's definitely the most profitable idea to enter during the pre-sale. So we sell a certain number of units at the start, but it's a limited amount because we also want the price to gradually increase. And as this price goes up, we also want to increase the overall margin of it all. And at the start, we create this global financial model from the beginning of construction to the very end. Some kind of margin on all of this. And at the start, we create this global financial model from the beginning of construction to the very end.
If necessary, we attract investors, large investors for the land. If we understand that the capital we currently have, I would like it to be a bit bigger.
We calculate the tax burden. The tax burden, of course, we don't enter a project if we think there's some kind of global risk. That's why we calculate all of this.
We're going to investors who invest in land.
We support ourselves with our own investments, and we attract partners to start the project. We enter a situation when we are already completely confident that everything will be fine. And plus, our offer always corresponds to the market. Our offer is interesting. We always think through the unique selling proposition at the start. We plan for a certain sales volume. But if for some reason nothing happens, if there are some pauses and so on, we will complete the project with our own funds and the funds attracted from investors, and we will sell the finished properties. I think that...
No questions, of course. As they say in real estate, Nazar, there are three key aspects in choosing a property: location, location, and location.
Location, of course.
We have the best ones.
We don't skimp on land. So some people are looking for a property with cheaper land, to start off, to somehow get in and save a bit. We don't just choose any locations. We specifically select those where we are absolutely confident that the place will be in demand for renting. We measure the foot traffic. We look at how The neighboring properties are in demand. In general, we study the market and conduct a pretty serious competitive analysis. And when we are completely sure that it will definitely succeed.
So indeed, that's what we're taking on, similar to Ubud Dream, which is in fact what we're here to talk about today.
Of course. But there will be very few such properties. And if you look at them, they rent for $300, $350 a night. So it's about occupancy. It can reach around 90%. Actually, we think it will be the same here because it's a great place, because it's right in the center, and because we will offer a very, very attractive deal. I think that, well, I am absolutely confident, to be honest, that our occupancy will be just turnkey.
I have no doubt about that either. Oleg, thank you very much. It was very interesting, it was very productive. And we've just come to the topic of Ubud. And as is tradition, we're giving away a gift, a certificate from our partners, Jungle Paddle. Oleg, tell us, what will we give this certificate for?
We will give it away for a comment under this video where you describe your perfect day in Ubud. So you wake up, for example, in Ubud Dream. And how does your day go from there? Let it be bright, let it be soulful, let it be interesting.
Thank you, Oleg. It was very interesting and informative. And I know there's one more phrase that you would like to say.
Yes, I've always dreamed of saying that, like, subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for our new videos.
Thank you, friends. See you next time.